When you're building the only human-rated capsule designed for deep space exploration, some assembly is required. Now, extreme goals require extreme design, much of which happens in different parts of the world. So where does Orion finally get put together? We are in the Neil Armstrong Operations and Checkout Building at the Kennedy Space Center. This is where most of Orion's systems finally get put together. This place also has incredible historical significance. It was built back in 1964 and was used during the Apollo program to test the command, service, and lunar modules. Today, it's leased and operated by Lockheed Martin, who's building the Orion vehicle, NASA's first spacecraft designed for long-duration, human-rated, deep space exploration. This is where Orion's system components, like the life support system, the propellant system, and avionics, are added to the vehicle structure. But many of these parts were created elsewhere. For example, the vehicle structure, also known as the Orion pressure vessel, was created at NASA's Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans. This is the foundation on which all of the spacecraft systems and subsystems are built. Engineers at Michoud assembled the structure using 7 large aluminum pieces and then welded them together with a high-tech welding method called friction stir welding. Once this process was complete, the pressure vessel was shipped to the Operations and Checkout Building in NASA's Super Guppy aircraft. Here, the pressure vessel was tested to ensure that it did, in fact, provide a safely sealed environment for astronauts who will ride in future Orion capsules. Then, subsystems were integrated onto the pressure vessel to create a nearly complete Orion vehicle called the short stack. They're all shipped to KSC for assembly because this is a state-of-the-art facility in the heart of the Space Coast with the workforce and the tools trained and designed exactly for this. After assembly, the short stack will be shipped to the Plum Brook Station Test Facility at NASA Glenn Research Center for vacuum and acoustic testing, and then it's sent back to KSC to prepare for launch. Ultimately, this vehicle will take astronauts into deep space, to places like the Moon and Mars. But before it flies humans, Orion will complete a flight without crew known as Exploration Mission 1, where it will launch with NASA's Space Launch System, the SLS, for the very first time. SLS will be the most powerful rocket ever built, and on its first flight, it will send Orion on a trip around the Moon so it can fully test all of its systems in the environment of deep space. And then from there, Orion can start sending humans on long-duration deep space destinations, and could be used in conjunction with even more ambitious projects, like NASA's Deep Space Gateway, a proposed spaceport in lunar orbit where astronauts study the Moon up close and train for longer, farther-out missions. This room has ties to historic milestones of NASA's past, but today, the work that's being done here will propel our space program to places humans have never ventured before. I'm Emily Calandrelli, and this has been your Spotlight on Space.